Good morning, everyone. I miss everyone, and this is my first video lesson with you guys, so I hope it's helpful. I'm just going to go through some slides, and I will tell you what your homework is during the course of the video. So, what is compound interest? Okay, basically, compound interest is when the interest is added to principal the principal for the next interest period increases and the resulting interest for that period increases. So I know it sounds a little confusing, but as we do problems, it'll probably make more sense to you. But basically, when you have interest added to principal, then your balance goes up. And that means now you have a new principal amount because your balance is higher, right? Then when they calculate the interest, they're calculating it on the new balance. And then you're going to add interest, and then your principal goes up again. So that's what compounding means, to keep adding on top of. That's what the word compound means, okay? So let's look at the definitions I asked you to look up. Basically, we know what compound interest is, right? Money earned on the money deposited. Money earned on the money deposited plus previous interest. So that's a very simple way to say it. Okay? Annual compounding is just interest compounded once a year. Actually, let me move that over here. Okay? Because we know what compounding means. We already talked about that up here. Semi-compounding interest compounded twice per year. Or you could say every 6 months. It's the same thing. Quarterly compounding, interest compounded four times per year. Or you can say every 3 months. And obviously, the last one is interest compounded every day. Or we can say 365 times. Hold on 1 second, it looks a little weird. 365 times per year, or 366 for leap year, right? Okay. The last term, crediting. Some of you were talking about credit, when somebody gives you credit or gives you the power to borrow money or get a loan. That does mean to credit, but this is a different term. And I was looking for a different definition. So basically, when the bank keeps a record of interest earned and prints it on your statement. Okay, so that's the definition I was looking for. All right, so let's move on. I'm going to go over example 1 and example 2 today, and the 2 check your understandings you're going to do as homework. All right. So here it says, how much interest would $1,000 earn in 1 year at an annual rate of 2% compounded annually? So that's the important one. It's compounded annually. Since it's compounded annually, we're going to use that simple interest formula, which we were using already before. If you remember, it's I equals PRT. So that's what we're doing. So my P in this case is 1,000. My R is 2%, but I have to convert that to 0.02. And my T is 1 year, right? So when I plug all these things in, I get I equals 1,000 times 0.02 times 1. I'm going to calculate that. I'm calculating it right now. 1,000 times 0.02. I don't have to do times 1 because that's redundant. So I get $20. So that's my interest. But the question says, what would be the new balance? That means I have to go back and add the interest. So the new balance would be 1,000 plus 20, which is $1,020. Okay? So this one is for your homework. Homework number 1, question 1. So I want you to do this for homework. This would be algebraic. You see, because I'm using an X there instead of actual dollars, so you have to be careful. All right, let's look at example 2 now. This is the last one I'm going to do for today. So here it says Maria deposits $1,000 in a savings account that pays 2% interest, but now do you see it's compounded semi-annually, not annually? Okay, so the way that we'd have to do that is we have to use, we're still going to use the interest formula, but we have to do it twice because it's compounded every 6 months or 2 times a year. Okay, so we're going to use the simple interest formula. I equals PRT. And I'm going to figure out what all those things are. So my P is 1,000. My R is, again, 0.02. But now my T is half a year because it's semi-annually. That would be 0.5. It's the same thing as a half, right? So my T is 0.5 because you have to put that in years. And then I'm going to multiply everything. So I have 1,000 times 0.02 times 0.5. Whoops. Okay, let's figure out that. That's going to give me $10 in interest. So then I have 1,000 plus 10, which is $1,010. That's for first 6 months. So guess what I have to do now? I have to do it again. So then I'm going to do it again. I equals PRT. But now my P has changed. It's now 1,010. Rate is still the same at 0.02. and the time is still half a year because I'm doing the other half of the year. So when I calculate, I'm going to have 1,010 times 0.02 times 0.5. That gives me $10.10. So I'm going to add my principal with my interest, and I'm going to get 1,020 and 10 cents. Okay, so my balance after a year, or Maria's balance after a year, after 1 year, would be 1,020 and 10 cents. Now let's compare that. If I did it semi-annually or twice a year, this is what her balance would be. If we go back to example 1, do you see her balance was only 1,020? Right? When we compounded it one time a year, it was 1,020. But here, when I compounded it 2 times a year, there was an extra 10 cents. I know you think, oh, 10 cents isn't that big a deal, but over time, 10 cents, that money keeps growing, and you end up with more money. So the compounding more frequently is a benefit, right? Okay, this Check Your Understanding is your homework number 2. And post your questions, any questions that you have for me in Google Classroom. And hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Please be well.